let's dive into it. Cardinals and Vikings. The Arizona Cardinals right now currently sitting, let me double check the line, make sure it hasn't moved at all. 3.5 point underdogs in Minnesota. Over under set at 44.5 now, so just a touchdown from what it was earlier on in the week. Cardinals plus 140 on the money line. Minnesota Vikings minus 166 now. So diving into this one, there's a few things there's trends for this one going both ways. If I had a slight lean that I don't feel great about, it would be more towards Arizona in the hook. Arizona, I think, has been playing some good football. They lost last week due to a pick six. Otherwise, they were in a great spot in that game.
Not really.
They were like
been 9-6.
I mean, still they're still in that game and they still have a chance, right?
Yeah.
So Cam Robinson, left tackle from the Minnesota Vikings, is hurt, and once he went down, the replacement didn't do very well. So I'm going to keep an eye on that in this game. Vikings allow on the other side of the spectrum least amount of first downs from a rushing standpoint. So that maybe we'll put some more emphasis on Kyler throwing the football, so he's going to have to be pretty good there. But since 1980, Arizona is 0-10 straight up in Minnesota. Like they just don't play well there. They haven't won very many games. Also, Kyler Murray 9-4 against the spread a week after scoring 14 or less. So I mean, again, where there's one trend for the Vikings, there's another trend for the Cardinals, going back and forth. So it's kind of all over the place for me on this one. If I am always in a situation where I'm thinking a game is going to be close, I typically side with a team that's going to get the extra half point, especially if it's 3.5. So if I had a lean in this one, that's where I would go. Otherwise, I don't really feel super strong or have a pulse on anything else in this one. I'm just going to leave a lot of it alone overall.
Yeah. There's a few things for one, both of these teams they're in the same boat. It's just one, a couple losses and they're right in the fraud watch. So whoever loses is going to have a tough time the rest of the year because not really make the playoffs, but to just make a true statement, and just, especially for the division crown. Yeah, 3.5. I must have overlooked this because if we say in a tight game like this, it could go either way. 3.5 looks amazing.
Yeah,
I might just swap out one of my best bets for that now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously, the Vikings are kind of, like you mentioned, fraud alert. They won just 3 straight road games and finally get a home game here. So I just think they're missing some key players on both sides of the ball. Like I said, Cam Robinson, Ivan Pace, he got injured as well. Yeah, I think injuries are going to help keep this one a little closer. I think they're kind of banged up at this point in the season as well. So yeah, if anything, that would be the lean. Also, too, this has a chance. Maybe under. The under could be interesting. Mm-hmm. Don't really love it, but I still think that both teams have played recently in a way that I feel like the under could be in play. In the last 5 games, they've allowed 16, 6, 9, 27, and 15. The Cardinals, by the way. And then they've played 4 of their last 5 at 38 points or less. So under could be interesting. 8-5 to the road, to the under on the road since the start of last season. Vikings are 9-4 to the under at home since the start of last season. So maybe some if you're gonna go anywhere and you might feel really really good about one side there, maybe I'll lean under, but just a lean.
Yeah, I mean Jonathan Gannon's also a very underrated coach, especially on the defensive side of the ball, which helps with that a lot.
Correct. And
Sky hates him, but I think Gannon's actually a solid coach. I already explained the coaching rankings. I had him higher than he thought, which is still pretty low, but I think he's probably climbing in the rankings this year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you take the, it depends if he took the bus to work or not. If he took the bus to work,
Yeah.
then maybe
He's got that fire in his belly.
he's got that fire in his belly.
Spicy.
Either that or he's got to take a shit. One of the two. But it's
had too much Taco Bell.
yeah. He got a little extra spicy in his intestines after a little taco beezy. So yeah, there you go. Cardinals Vikings should be an interesting game. But we'll see what ends up happening. Browns and Broncos, my boys.
Have fun.
My boys coming in. This one is I want to fade Jameis. I want to fade Jameis. We had Jameis Winston last time we saw him, and I love Jameis. Love him. He's one of my favorite players to listen to, and he's just so entertaining. So entertaining. But this is the spot to fade him, right? When has Jameis ever had good back-to-back games? Ever.
Yeah.
Like,
what is consistency?
There's no way that I can picture Jameis having string two games together and have a really good game. They're coming off their in a Super Bowl, so to speak. They had a snow game, Snow Angels. They're on cloud nine. They were celebrating and enjoying it, and good for them. You know, I love the fact that the Browns ended up getting that dub, right? Sure.
I don't.
Yeah, you don't, obviously. But I just think that they put so much into that game to win it, and then, this is just one of those things where they fall back down to earth. Awful win. Winston is 13-17-2 against the spread, 1-5 against the spread since 2021. Denver leads the league defensively in a lot of categories. They're tied for first in yards per play allowed. They lead the NFL with 44 sacks. Broncos are first in pass block win rate. By the way, one of the best offensive lines we've seen in years. Fifth in run block win rate, third in pass rush win rate. I mean, they're getting pressure on the ball on one side, on the defensive side, and they're also keeping Bo Nix clean. And Bo Nix hasn't made any mistakes. Only 2 interceptions since September 15th from a rookie. You'll take that all day, every day. As long as he doesn't make mistakes, the Broncos should be in a place to cover 5.5 in this game. That's my lean. I feel really good about Denver minus 5.5 in this game. They are 5.5 point favorites at home. Total set at 42. I think this is just a spot where you want to take the Broncos. Now, I say, we're in the business of fading Jameis after a high week that he had last week. Normally, I would be like the same kind of situation with Bo Nix. I mean, at some point, he's got to start making mistakes. At some point, he's got to come back down to earth from what he's been doing, right? You would think. So there's fade potential, whether it's this week or next week. After a win this week, maybe it's next week. I don't know. But I think there's a bigger fade lean towards Jameis than there is towards Bo Nix in this one. So 5.5, Denver. Not one of my best bets, but if you told me to pick a side in this one, I would feel good about Denver minus 5.5.
I mean, this is a big one for your playoff hopes too. You can look at the schedules.
Roger.
I guess Miami's got a little bit of a tough road after this one as well. But either way, if the Broncos can win this game, they have a clear path ahead to at least get the 7 seed in the playoffs for the AFC, and break Scotty's heart to not have the longest.
I can't wait, baby.
Last week was in fact the Browns Super Bowl, but they do have an extra long week because they played on Thursday last week. Now they play on Monday this week, so they do have the rest advantage. How much would that play factor into this? I mean, we saw that they can play well in the cold, so the weather shouldn't be too much of a factor here, no matter what it is. If I had to lean, I would go Browns 5.5, but it's nothing I would touch. Like, I like the under a lot more than I like either side. So the Broncos, Bo Nix has done well, but like you said, you got to fade him eventually. You got to fade Jameis eventually. Like if we're fading both quarterbacks, the under is the right move.
Under could be interesting because I don't see a lot of points coming from Jameis in this one. I think there's a lot of opportunities for Jameis to throw picks in this game. Turnovers are going to be a big factor, knowing that Jameis does tend to get trigger happy and throw interceptions. So, by the way, Monday high of 52 and sunny in Denver. So that's a fantastic day.
I mean, with the highest 52, this is a night game.
Well, true,
So it's probably be more like high 30s.
Yeah, low 40s, high 30s, which still that's warmer than it's going to be in Green Bay for Tua. We'll get to that game in a little bit, but really feel like this could be. I mean, this is a big game for the Broncos to feel like they have total control and a nice cushion with their playoff destiny in their sights. Like it's all in the making for them. They can do it, and they have a chance to really. They have a chance to really solidify themselves. This would just be another reason that Bo Nix would add to his resume of Rookie of the Year, given he's climbed that ladder. Going back to early in the season where he was 25 to 1 to win it, all of a sudden he's near the top. So, it's kind of wild. I think currently
Did you put a couple bucks?
I did not. I did. I haven't even bought my jersey. It takes me a while. Bo Nix is still offensive rookie of the year behind Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels minus 200, Bo Nix plus 160. So they're still close. But a win with in Cleveland decisively could change a little bit of what that looks like, especially because I think Washington might struggle this week. And Jaden Daniels hasn't been playing great football recently. So could be interesting. What's up, SDG? Welcome, man. Good to have you. Welcome.
My man.
All right, so there you go. Browns, Broncos. I can't wait. Monday Night Football. You know what's weird too? I have a weird. I feel, and this I don't know the stats. I haven't looked them up. I don't know why I feel like the Broncos have historically not really performed well on Monday night. Like, I don't know.
And all of a sudden you hit your lane.
And all of a sudden it's like,
You had all this confidence, then one little thing creeped into your brain.
I know.
And you're kind of just shot.
No, it's Rec. Can look up the Broncos Monday Night Football records going back. Maybe I'm just I just feel like they just don't play as well.
Well, it's also because you've sucked over the last bunch of years. So
Well, true. So I don't know, and we haven't had that many Monday Night Football games, so the ones we do have stand out a little bit.
So historically, you're 33, 44, and 1.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah.
No, I mean maybe I don't know.
I'm trying to find. I mean, it's only showing the early ones. I want to see the recent ones as well. What are the recent? I don't care about the 80s and the 90s. Show me what's happened lately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not changing my opinion. Broncos, I feel like is where -5.5 feels great. I'll take it. -5.5. Not my best bet of the week, just a strong lean, but I feel great. Okay. Well, let's go on to the next game. And we have the Chargers and the Falcons.
Okay, so real quick, I did find the stats for Monday Night Football. You won your last game, but before that, you lost 7 straight.
Yeah, see? I just in the back of my head, I just know it's never been a great day for the Denver Broncos to be playing football games. Hasn't ever been really consistency. But again, to your point, the Broncos have not had good quarterbacks or good defenses or they haven't had good anything really to get excited about. So in that standpoint, things are different this year. I'll take it. Falcons, we want the bake show. I meant Chargers. wait, what? Uh,
Mhm.
so Chargers and Falcons. Chargers visiting Atlanta. Chargers minus 2.5. I think that line is still around where it's actually 1.5. So the Chargers 1.5 point favorites on the road in Atlanta. Over under now at 47.5. Chargers to win the game minus 122. Atlanta plus 104. Yeah, this game. If I have a best bet in this game, and it has to do with the total 47.5. I like the over in this game. I got it at 47, so pretty close to where it is now.
So this number is bouncing around a bit.
A little bit. Again, Atlanta was plus 2.5. They were 2.5 point underdogs. Now it's only 1.5 point. So things have been shifting a little bit. By the way, the Chargers on a short week on the road, and Atlanta's coming off a bye. That's the reason why this game is so close, right? Because this is just a weird spot for the Chargers. Chargers coming off that bad loss on Monday night against the Baltimore Ravens. So short week on the road on the East Coast, and the Atlanta's coming off a bye at home. Not you feel good if you're Atlanta in this spot. J.K. Dobbins had a knee injury, and the Chargers, they ran into that Lamar juggernaut on Monday, so they're in a get right spot trying to bounce back from that. Atlanta D has been terrible. Chargers tend to give up points on their defensive end, which is why I like the over in this game. I think both teams are going to be able to score. LA Chargers are the more complete team and better coached of these two teams. So I think the lean would be a teaser to Atlanta a little bit to get them up. So I would say Atlanta teased up. They're 1.5 plus 1.5. Tease Atlanta up to 7.5, and I feel like a good lean on a teaser leg there would be interesting. But one of my best bets, I think Chargers have been last 3 weeks. I've been on the Chargers. They've been playing teams that have actual offensive side of the football, whereas in earlier part of the season, they have been playing like terrible teams that haven't been able to score. They got a lot of Vegas trends going towards the unders, and now they're starting to play teams with offensive side of the football that is more established. So last 3 weeks, I've been on the overs. Last 3 weeks, they've been covering. I'm going to keep riding that trend until it doesn't hit. So I got over in the Chargers-Falcons game here as a best bet. Rec, what do you got?
Well, real quick, because your channel points don't work, we got something for you to pronounce, apparently. Let me see.
Canada. Let's see what we got.
Relief.
Well, first of all, I always gotta just maybe take a step back and make sure.
I think I know what it is, but I'll let you go first. I think I know what it is.
Is it Nelsix?
Yeah, I think it's Nelsix.
Nelsix. Nelsix. How did I do? What's up, Canada? What's up? How we doing? So yeah, that's what I got there. Chargers, Falcons, over.
Close enough.
Close enough. All right, let's go. Let's go.
The Chargers defense could not stop any part of the Ravens offense, especially they couldn't stop Henry. They couldn't stop the pass game. Like, that's supposed to be a staple of Jim Harbaugh's team, and that's just not happening. I mean, it looked good at first. Maybe it's because of a weaker schedule, but whatever happened to the defense, just like something happened and just fell off hard. But the Falcons, who've never really had a defense yet, and with you, I like the over, especially since Herbert's going to be protected. Falcons have no pass rush, so Herbert's not going to have too much of a problem sitting in. The only question is if he throws to Quentin Johnston too much or not. But yeah, this should be a nice little offensive show. And I keep saying it, but with that time of the year where it's like a lot of these games like rely on playoff position. It's like again, winners in a really good spot, losers in not a good spot. Like I mentioned before, like Tampa's got a really easy schedule, and I would bet the Bucks to win the division now. So I don't, yeah, like the Falcons, they got to be on their A game throughout the whole season at this point. It feels like after blowing a couple of games they should have had.
Yeah, right now Tampa Bay to win the division, plus 230. Atlanta's minus 260. So, yeah,
Take the value. Bet the Buccaneers. Trust me on this one.
Yeah, I think, and we said that on the last stream too. We were like, I don't know. We jumped off the ATL lab quite a bit over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So not super not as confident in Atlanta as I have been previously. So yeah, some struggles there. But yeah, this game, as long as if Kirk Cousins can get the boys going a little bit and gets things rolling here, I like the over. So there you go. All right, Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson should be starting with how bad those hands were. He should. I mean, he shouldn't. He should. Keep close. Where's Keep Close when you need him? Where's Keep Close when you need him? Gosh, man, I was looking at some of those drops on Monday night. Like, I was just.
They're bad.
They were bad. They were.
I mean, there's stuff you're taught in Pee Wee. Look the ball into your hands. Okay, I caught it. Now I can turn and see where I'm running. That's Pee Wee stuff.
Oh my goodness. Crazy. The fact that we're talking about Quentin Johnson not being able to catch footballs week 13. That's why these Chargers because shit like this.
I wish someone could love me like the way Keith Close loves QJ.
True.
All of his frogs.
It's true. I wish everyone could be loved the way Keep Close loves QJ. I mean, it just feels so much. Man, well said, STG. Well said. It's so funny. Oh my goodness.
What's next on the docket?
Oh, that's so good. Let's go Dolphins and Packers. Why not? Let's get into it a little bit. We got off stream the other night on Sunday night, and just peeling back the curtains for all you guys out there in chat. Sometimes we get off and we're all tired and we get off the stream real quick. Sometimes we get off and we're talking on our in the background for another 30 minutes. Sometimes it's crazy. We just keep rolling on. And mainly it's about what we like next week and some of the matchups. And I got off stream and it was Scotty, myself, Rec, just chatting through some of the games. And there were games that I almost had my best bets pegged right off the bat. Sunday night.
You had three. You had three of them.
I had three.
You immediately DM'd it. Three of us that night.
I was like, these have to be on my radar for best bets because I love these games without even knowing any of the trends, anything. One of those games is this one, Miami Dolphins. Dolphins visiting the Packers. Green Bay, 3.5 point favorites at home. This dropped down to 3, and I got it at 3. Went straight back up to 3.5. The over-under set at 47.5 as we sit today. Packers. Hey!
All right.
Hey, Joe. Shout out to Joe Quills. What's up, Jojo? How we doing? Hopefully you had a fantastic evening. Hope you had a great stream. Welcome in, everybody. Enjoying Joe's stream. My name is Chris. This is Rec. Scotty's out on vacation, so Rec's joining me here. We're breaking down Week 13. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Welcome in. Good to have you. We're previewing some games, so jump in. Let us know who your teams are and where you're from. We would love to get to know you a little bit better. Welcome. How was the stream, Joe? Go follow Joe. Click on the link. Go follow Joe. All right. Green Bay. In this one, I mean, what's not to love about Green Bay? This was the one that stood out to me. I saw the line at 3.5. I went to 3. I still love it at 3.5. But this game is just, it's tailor made. All right, so there's a lot of hype around Tua and the Miami Dolphins getting back on track, right? You know, we're all hyped up
You
on.
beat the Patriots. Good job.
Well, that's exactly where I was going with that. Tua has been great, but he dominated the Raiders, which they were down by 5 with 3 minutes left in the game. The Patriots, and then the Rams. The Rams beat themselves in that game. Now, Dolphins ended up winning that game, and they did what they had to do. But the Rams definitely helped implode and make that happen. Tua is 3-8-1 away from home against winning teams. This temperature in this game. Do we remember what Tua looked like in Kansas City last year in really cold weather? Just, didn't look super great. It's going to be 20 degrees Thursday night in Green Bay. Not a fun place if you're a warm weather team coming north to play a football game. Miami, they're 0-4 when Tua plays in colder weather like this. LaFleur, 23-14 at home against the spread overall.
Real quick. You said 20 degrees. Is that the high? Or is that like the game time temperature? Because this is a night game. This is Thursday night.
Yeah, they say the low, when the game is going to happen, they say it's going to be around 20 degrees.
Okay.
So it might be lower. I don't know. But either way, I just don't see. I mean, Tua has been playing some teams that obviously are not exactly juggernauts on, their way back up once he's gotten back into the starting lineup. I just don't see them coming in and just blowing the doors off of Green Bay in a night game in 20-degree weather. That's just not the model for Miami Dolphins football and for Tua. Tua come out this week. He was like talking about how, I'm not going to let the cold. That's a narrative that doesn't. No, there's the narratives are can be real, and this one is real. It's just not a good spot for them. Green Bay is always in these spots. They know how to win in these kind of conditions, and I think Green Bay. Everyone's kind of down on Love right now. Everyone's loving on the other side Tua after these last 3 weeks. I just think they're trending in their different directions. So, Peter LaFleur, like Peter on ESPN 8 the Ocho. Peter LaFleur, dodgeball champion. Yes. I said no. I love it, Piglet. It's fantastic. It's such a great movie, by the way. The quotes in that movie, chef's kiss. Voltaire, what's going on? Volt, how we doing? Welcome in. Gave my picks a day early. What are your picks, Joe? Miami will think it's a heat wave tomorrow night compared to KC. Yeah, 100%. Game time, high of 32, about 27 at kickoff. So, yeah. So, I think the low is going to be around 19, 20, maybe that night. So, anyways, not a great spot for Miami. Hence, Green Bay, best bet, -3 at home. I still like him at 3.5. Scotty likes Miami in this game, and I don't know why. I just not sure why. Scotty might be just on the deep end, off the deep end for this one.
Yeah, Scotty's been struggling the best bets. I've been doing great recently, so you'll be happy to know that I am on your side. I got the Packers -3 as a best bet. The Dolphins, again, they're riding high. They've been dominating, but it's been kind of fool's gold. Again, going into the cold weather, this is what the Packers are built for. Even then, you're talking about Jordan Love has been struggling as of late. Look at Josh Jacobs. Jacobs has been a beast as of late. I mean, they did play the 49ers last week, who turned out to not be a great team, but at very least, they do have a run game to lean on if Jordan Love does struggle in this game. I like the Packers in this game a lot. Yeah, this is just a horrible spot for the Dolphins. I mean, again, I keep saying it, both of these teams do kind of need this win to keep up in their respective divisions and conference, so I feel like the Packers have more firepower in the cold.
Yeah, I mean, beating good teams on the road on short weeks in freezing weather. Like it's trend after trend after trend after trend saying why you shouldn't be backing the Miami Dolphins in this game. It just doesn't make sense to me. So this
Yeah, my favorite trend is that Sky likes the Dolphins, so bet the
Mm.
Packers.
I know why he picked the Dolphins. It's because he's on the beach right now and he's thinking, "Oh man, the beach, the water, the sunshine. You know what? Give me Miami." He's
Jesus.
and it's just he wouldn't be thinking. I mean, right now in Colorado, we got some snow today. You know, it was a little bit, an inch of snow, whatever. He would be thinking a lot different if he were if he were in Colorado for Thanksgiving. By the way, happy Thanksgiving to everybody who just joined in. Hopefully, you're enjoying your week. No stream tomorrow. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. All right, let's go on to the next one here. By the way, once we get to our best bets, there's going to be other games I want to talk about because there's a lot of games on the slate.
This might take a while.
Oh my goodness, it's just going to be, yeah, it's going to be good. All right, let's get to the game of the week. This game is going to be fascinating. We got the Eagles on the road at the Ravens. Baltimore 3-point favorites. I believe that's still where it's at. And
That's where I last saw it.
51.5 is where the over-under total sits right now.
Going up.
The Baltimore Ravens minus 164 on the money line. Philadelphia plus 138. Yeah, this game, I have a heavy lean towards Philadelphia in this game. Philadelphia plus 3. I mean, if you like them plus 3, you'll like the money line too. I mean, I think those are kind of two spots where I feel like, you know, you want to maybe isolate. Right now, the money line for the Eagles plus 138. So, you know, you're getting some okay value there. But Eagles feel like a really good spot here. After the Harbaugh Bowl, they fly back. The Ravens fly back and play the second best team in the league. Which, have fun. You're playing.
Eagles are not the second best team in the league. I'm sorry.
I mean, Eagles have been playing the best football. They've
been playing well as of late.
They've been playing the best football, arguably, of any team. And you can say that Saquon Barkley has been the best player in the NFL over the last stretch of games, that he's just been absolutely a monster. Lamar is you know, coming off that win. They're on a high point. So that'll be interesting, you know, again, flying back to play an Eagles team that's just, you know, going to be in a nice little win streak of their own. 7 games won straight for the Philadelphia Eagles. I will say the Lamar Jackson Ravens here can do some nice things in the sense that, one, you know, he's been playing well throwing the football. He leads the league in passer rating. Eagles, younger on the defensive side, which is why I kind of hesitate a little bit in making this an official best bet. Lamar, as a favorite of 3 or less, is 26-6 against the spread. So that's another trend going for Baltimore, which, you know, not loving. But it's just hard to look at this Philadelphia team getting 3.5 and not feel like that is a decent side to consider when placing a bet on this game. Philadelphia being able to control the ball with Saquon. They have, you know, maybe the coaching advantage definitely goes to Baltimore. It's going to be a tight one. If it's close, I'll take the Eagles and the points.
So I was gonna bring this up earlier, but Joe already did it. So go ahead, take your wild guess, Chris. Who's the only NFC quarterback to ever beat Lamar Jackson in his career?
Say that again? Sorry.
The only NFC quarterback to ever defeat Lamar Jackson in his career. Because I know what it is, Joe.
Lions. Did Joe ask that, or is that?
Yeah, Joe. I was gonna bring it up, but Joe brought it up before I could.
Oh, got it. He said Lions and Eagles are the combined 16-0 since they both lost to Tampa Bay.
Yeah. But yeah, who do you think is the only NFC quarterback to beat Lamar?
Is it Hurts?
Not Hurts.
Who is it?
Vikings legend Daniel Jones.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't take the Eagles because the Ravens do so like the Ravens are historically great against the NFC. At the same time, if anyone is built like the Ravens, it's the Eagles. So their defense should have an idea of how to stop the Ravens, considering they have to stop their own offense in practice. Same thing, very mobile, strong quarterback, elite running back. That's very hard to tackle. They are very close to each other, so I can't take either side. If I was forced to take a lean, I'd go Baltimore because the NFC always has trouble with them, but I can't take either side here.
Yeah, I just it's hard. And here's the thing. Philadelphia, they win I mean, if let's say they win this game. I mean, this is shaping up for a Detroit Philadelphia NFC absolute insane game once we get to the playoffs. Like NFC Championship game with the Eagles, and I mean that's what it should be. So I mean they're the two top teams that we've been watching in the NFC, and it's not really particularly close. But this is going to be an incredible game, and I can't wait for this one. So get your popcorn ready, people. All right. Let's get to Steelers and Bengals. Talk about your boys a little bit. Rec, I'll go ahead and let you start out what you love in this game. I mean, I have a lean. I'm pretty sure you would be happy with my lean. But I also have a chip that I'm holding on to. But go ahead.
I have a report here that might make you toss that chip back in.
Okay.
This was from Ben Baby, who's a big Cincinnati sports reporter. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow said it remains to be seen how the cold weather will affect his wrist. He admitted that the cold has affected injuries in the past. Asked on how he threw today, could have been better. So apparently he's still dealing with that wrist injury that he suffered last year against the Ravens. Apparently, he's talking about the cold has an effect on his wrist. So I mean, if that's the case, I love Steelers +3 here. You get the field goal in a divisional matchup. So another stat here. And go down, find it. The officiating crew. This is for the under. For a couple of things, but for one, Sean Hockley, the head official, called 64% of plays on the offense. And division home teams, such as Cincinnati, 16-23 straight up and 15-23-1 against the spread. And for the under, Hockley is 8-2 this season with an average of 38 points per game. So Steelers +3 and the total under 47 look great in this scenario. The one thing that makes me slightly hesitant against the Steelers is that Tomlin is usually a very streaky coach. Like the Steelers are very streaky under him. Like you see, like when they win a lot and looks great, and you wonder why anyone questions him. But when they lose in bunches. Everything looks bad, and you wonder why he's employed. It's a deadly mix. I'm like that trend makes me slightly nervous about this game. But again, if Burrow's wrist is hurting him as much as it is, and because the Bengals are coming off a bye week, Steelers coming off of a mini bye, so both teams should be well rested. But yeah, I feel like the right pick here would be the Steelers. I had it as the best bet, but after looking at the Cardinals game, I might swap this one out for Cardinals +3.5.
Ah, see, you were talking me into giving my chip back, and then you kind of made me hesitate. So, all right, I guess I'm going to be sober another week on betting the Steelers. That's fine with me. by the way, Pittsburgh 4-0 against the spread as dogs this season. My lean, by the way, is to Pittsburgh as well. All the Pittsburgh Steelers do is play close divisional games. No, this is going to be no different. So, I mean, getting the 3 feels like the right side. Steelers, like you said, on a mini bye themselves, so that kind of negates a little bit of the advantage of Cincinnati's bye. But, I mean, it's still, a little extra time for Cincinnati to prepare. Tomlin, as a dog, on the road, off of a loss, is a good spot for the Steelers, 62% against the spread. So, the one coach in the NFL that has like some of the best trends is Mike Tomlin. They're pretty much automatic. Like, again, you get all these like Tomlin as a favorite at home versus Tomlin as a dog on the road off a loss. Like, you bet one way or another based off of what just happened and where the line's at. So this one is why I would lean Steelers +3. Your point on the referee, I read that stat out on Sunday about the game that he refereed this past week, where he had all those trends to the unders in his refereeing career, especially this season.
I want to say it was Detroit, but I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know. Either way, it was the most recent game hit the under, and he is absolutely crushing on unders this year. So I didn't know he was refereeing this game. That leans me more to the under. Yeah, I think Sean Hockley, there you go, in the chat. 63 and 43 to the under in his career. I think, wasn't it you?
It was Lions and Colts.
Yeah, that was Sergeant. You put this on Sunday, and I read it out too. It was the same thing. 7-2 to the under in 2024, and just 38.9 points per game, lowest in the NFL. The Lions averaged 33 points themselves. Yeah,
it was Lions and Colts. So yeah, and that, what was that, 24-6? So that's 30 points in a game where the Lions usually put up 80.
Yeah. So I all of a sudden I feel like the under in this game. Even some of the simulations that I have that I follow, let me see what the under is in there, because that all of a sudden is getting a little bit more juicy for me. The game sims out at 45.5. So under is where it's at, guys. That strong lean to the under in this Steelers Bengals game. I didn't mean to push that button. Under. That would be where I would attack this game. Go for it.
Yeah.
I feel confident in it. Let's see. What else do we have? You can say he's predictable. Yep.
Yes.
There's one thing that scares me. Justin Fields passing. Well, I mean, how many times is he gonna? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how many.
Arthur Smith was getting a lot of shit last week for some of the play calls he did. like Fields throwing the quarter out Patterson on the 2. Well, it was interesting. The press conference yesterday, Tomlin was talking about how he and his staff are actually going to make adjustments, which I haven't heard of in literal years. I can't believe it. But mainly with the red zone, the Steelers' red zone offense has not been good this whole year, but the Steelers' red zone defense since the bye week has been atrocious. So gotta hope those change. Gotta hope that he actually makes adjustments for once in his life.
I see. Sergeant Erecto. Yeah, there is a referee, NFL Ref Stats, at NFL Ref Stats 1.
Is that what I got? Yeah, that's where that stat. It got posted in the group chat for my Steeler Nation thing.
Yeah, so yeah,
that's what I was looking at.
Number 1 NFL referee and penalty info, straight up against the spread totals for every NFL. Okay, I like it. Adding it to the mix. Appreciate that, Sergeant. I'll take a look at that. Perfect. All right, let's get to the next one. 49ers and Bills. So
Sunday Night Football.
One of the other games, we'll be live for this one Sunday night, and I have no idea what we're gonna see, because San Francisco has been playing some dog shit football recently, and so I don't know what to expect. We have Brock Purdy, who's banged up. We have Bosa banged up. Brock Purdy threw one pass in practice, and he's been like very light in his what he's been doing this whole week. So don't love that. Even before I know all of that, we talked about on Sunday night, we were looking at the odds that San Francisco 49ers win the division. And what was it? They were dead last at 6-1, which almost is the reason why, and one of the things that went into one of my best bets initially. I said we had 2 or 3 best bets right off the bat Sunday night when we got off stream that I loved. Bills minus 6.5 was one of them. Right now, I think it went up to 7. Now it's back down to 6.5. But the Bills feel like the right side here. San Francisco traveling on the East Coast to Buffalo. I think do they stay on the? I mean, this is the second game on the road for the San Francisco 49ers.
I haven't heard anything about them staying on the East. Like usually that's something that's like on Twitter in a bunch of spots, but haven't seen that anywhere.
Well, even if they flew back to San Francisco and back out east, that's not great. I don't love that for Buffalo. So either way, this is all right. I'm gonna say this is not officially one of my best bets, but it's my unofficial 5th pick as a best bet. Bills minus 6.5. I don't know how Purdy's going to be able to play in this game. It's going to be cold. Obviously, it's going to be against a good Bills team. He's not. Purdy's not 100%. If Purdy doesn't play, this inflates to about 8. I don't know. It's gonna inflate for the Buffalo Bills here.
It's not gonna be 8. It's gonna shoot to more like 10.
Like it's gonna increase quite a bit. One of the best running teams in football against the 49ers defense that can't really stop the run. Josh Allen dominates as a big favorite at home. All of it. You can pick your poison. Tease the Bills down to a 0.5 point and pair them with whoever else. Who did I say earlier? The Falcons. Atlanta. Pair
the Falcons, maybe the Steelers.
Pair them. Maybe the Steelers. Actually, no, that's a great one. Bills down to a 0.5 point. Steelers up. Love that. Absolute. I might place that as soon as I get off stream tonight. But I still love Buffalo minus 6.5. I love Buffalo minus 7. Buffalo Bills will win this game. It's just a matter of by how much. And them at home, waiting for a team that's just banged up and on the road for the second straight week. I love it. Give me the Bills.
Yeah. In the chat, for one, this saying Josh Allen's 22-6 against the NFC. And then you have Joe Quosheim at the potential snow game. It looks like we might have another lake effect thing like the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game last week, which I don't even remember the last time the Niners played in snow, so that would be fun to look at. And again, Brock Purdy, like even if he does play, he's not going to be entirely healthy. I mean, last week, one of my best bets, I went against the Niners. I took Packers minus 2.5. He got injured and the line jumped like 4 points. I'm banking on that again. I'm taking the Bills, who are used to the snow, against a better Niners team. Unfortunately, I got it at 7, but I'll take it. Got Bills minus 7.
Yeah.
In a game on a spread that could easily jump another 2, 3, 4 points. And on Sunday Night Football on primetime, like it just feels like the wind's been taken out of this Niners team, and this is their chance to prove that no, they still have something in the tank. But yeah, if they lose to this team, you can kiss their last remaining Super Bowl hope goodbye.
Yeah. This is hard for me to look at this game and not. I just don't understand why this is the line for this game. I think it's definitely a chance for you guys to take advantage of getting the Buffalo Bills minus 6.5 in a week where this could be an absolute blowout. So there you go. Are we saying Shanahan's last dance? I mean, the San Francisco 49ers are in a world of hurt moving forward.
Yeah. I don't know if this is like you can make the argument I'll put it like this: if he was fired, it would not shock me. But if he was kept around, I wouldn't necessarily argue against it. Like he's still overall, he's still one of the best coaches in the league. But man, his choking problem has been flaring up a lot this year. The Niners are the single worst team inside 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's not great for San Francisco moving forward. There, I
Yeah.
mean, with
So,
all the
although with that
contracts.
said, sorry, you see, with all that said, the Niners are like this. Niners games are good games to live bet on. Like it gets late in each half. Just go ahead, flip the script, and bet on the other team with the points. Those are usually fun ones to do.
Yeah, yeah, it's have fun with this one, guys. Have fun with this one.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the next one here. Oh wait, that's it. That's all we got.
Yep.
But I still have some other games we're gonna get to here once I get to our best bets because I have a couple that we did not talk about. So first of all, let's get to Scotty's best bets. And we're going to talk about what he decided he wanted to enter
Scotty needs rehab
before he went to Mexico. So Scotty, Carolina +6. And in Scotty's defense, I think this is a good spot for Carolina. He needs to do what I did with the Pittsburgh Steelers. If he loses this game, he needs to do what I did with the Pittsburgh Steelers and just boycott betting that team.
He bet them the first 2 weeks too.
Yeah,
the difference is that the Steelers are actually a consistently good team. The Panthers are not. I don't think that's a hot take.
Yeah. So it's not a sure thing that the and the line currently I think has changed a little bit. Carolina right now is what's the line? +5.5 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But yeah, Bryce Young has been playing better football, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers just they're playing some good football too. But I just think Carolina's closing the gap, and so yeah, I feel like if I had a side in this one, I would side Carolina at home +6. Not sure if I love it at 5.5 as much as I do 6, but if you like it at 5.5, you like it at 6. So there you go. Miami +3.5. He's on the opposite side. Like I said, not sure what he's saying on this one. Don't love Miami in a bad spot. Atlanta +2.5. I guess he didn't want to tease this one, but he likes Atlanta against the Chargers. He's still on the ActionLab. He's getting an extra point of value knowing that the spread currently is 1.5. So he got at 2.5, thinking it's going to be close, which, I'll take Atlanta winning against the Chargers in this one. I'll take it. I feel like Atlanta, if I was going to take a side, that would be the right side, but I would feel more comfortable teasing them. And then Chicago +10.5. 10.5 is a lot. I'm going to talk a lot about why I got Detroit. Detroit's currently 9.5. So I'll talk a little bit about that here in a second. My best bets, I got Green Bay -3, Tennessee +6.5. Here's what I love about Tennessee in this one. Tennessee is it's more buying into the Tennessee coming up and also buying out on everything happening in Washington. This would be the Commanders' 13th straight game without 2 weeks of rest. Titans are ranked 3rd in net yards per play defense, 2nd in yards per game defense, 2nd in third down defense, 3rd in net yards pass defense, and 8th in run defense while playing the 6th toughest schedule in the NFL. So they've been playing tough teams. Washington has played the 25th toughest schedule, and they are 1-7-1 straight up and 2-7 against the spread in pre-bye week games against the AFC. There's what's not to like about Tennessee. I got them at 6.5. I think it's dropped to 5.5. People have bet it down. Will Levis threw one of his signature awful pick sixes against the Texans last week, and it still wasn't enough to cost Tennessee a road win over the division leader. Washington tallying just 4 interceptions all year. Levis, Washington has only gotten 4 interceptions on defense all year. So, you're limiting the mistakes with Levis with a team that doesn't create turnovers. Honestly, it's interesting. Titans might have a chance to win this game outright. I'm not picking them to, but they think they have a chance to keep this one closer, which is why I have them plus 6.5. Commanders are just trending the wrong direction. They look less dangerous than they did a month ago. I don't expect the offense to continue to get just drastically better by any means against the top tier rush defense here. So Tennessee's the side. Tennessee's the side. It's why it's one of my best bets of the week. You already know about LA and Atlanta. Over 47. Talked a lot about why I love that already. And let's get to the Chicago-Detroit. One of the juiciest, when we talk about Thanksgiving, we love indulging on a meal. And I love indulging on a massive favorite on Thanksgiving. And I'm going to do that here. I got trends for you guys. I got trends. You were asking, that's 10.5. That's 10.5. That's too much. There's no way I could do it. Scotty knows what's up. 10.5 is too much. Think about this. Favorites on Thanksgiving of 10 plus are 9-0 since 2005, 11-0 since 1990. That's straight up. Favorites on Thanksgiving
How many of those have played against the Lions?
I mean, just saying.
Too soon?
Favorites on Thanksgiving, 38-19 against the spread since 2004. And Goff, 33-11 against the spread in his last 3 seasons indoors. Obviously, we're going to have that in the scenario here. Lions second overall in success rate offensively. Do we forget that the Bears went to overtime and are now on a short week and have a noon Eastern time kickoff? Like, is there, for a Bears team that's struggling and for a Bears team that has Eberflus who doesn't show up on away games for the first half of games, this game could be over in the first half. It could be done. The Bears just don't get up for these away games. They're always losing against the spread in take that first half spread. I'll take that too. Bears' biggest weakness is against the run, and that is what the Bears do well, but what the Lions want to do well. So I think that's a really offsetting trend for this one. Bears 2 games. Caleb Williams played well. They still lost because coaching mismatches and all the mistakes the coaching staff has been making. The coaching mismatch is going to be active here. This one. Take Detroit minus 9.5. I think this should be a 13.5 point spread on Thanksgiving. There's no way I feel like this is a close game. So Detroit minus 9.5. Book it. Cash it.
Yeah.
The
other best bet that I haven't talked about. I mean, Sky can hate me all he wants for this, but
hey, thank you, Joe, for the 10 months. Appreciate that,
my man.
Twitch Prime.
Sky can hate me all he wants for it, but it's a good bet. Fading the Chiefs as huge favorites is it wins almost every time this year. Got the Raiders plus 12.5. It was announced that Aiden O'Connell will start this week. It's like, as you mentioned, like the Chiefs just don't try, especially when they're winning. They just they take a lead and stop. They should never be favored by more than 7 in a given week, if I'm being completely honest. It was funny though. I don't know if you saw, but Antonio Pierce in his presser today, he was like, "Yeah, like I know the narratives. Like we're talking about the best team in the league against the worst team in the league." It's like, okay, if that's how you feel about your team, cool. But even then, it's like the Raiders don't like the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't care. It's like that whole meme of like, I feel sorry for you. I don't think of you at all. That's this rivalry, pretty much. rivalry. But yeah, Raiders plus 12.5. I'll take the points. It might be a backdoor cover, but it's still gonna cover. Are you muted?
Oh yeah, sorry. Here we go. Sorry, I must have hit the
Yeah,
button.
I was thinking here, like, I think you're trying to talk, but like, what am I?
No,
What's going on?
no. The Raiders with their change of quarterback might be that. That's the one thing that makes me a little bit skeptical. With they shifted. Obviously, Gardner Minshew got hurt. So now I just what kind of consistency are they getting offensively for a bad team that's already they know they might be mailing it in. But then on the flip side, you have this massive spread where I just don't know if Kansas City is in the business of blowing teams out. I don't care how bad the teams are. We saw Carolina last week, and Carolina's on the up and ups, but still, Las Vegas is.
In Vegas earlier.
Vegas knows how to play competitive games regardless. Now, Desmond Ritter worries me a ton. So I just
He's not playing.
who
It's Aiden O'Connell.
is it? Aiden O'Connell? All right. Well,
Yeah,
either way,
confirmed. Oh,
because he's coming off injured reserve, right?
yeah. I honestly I was holding off on the bet, and then once it was announced that O'Connell's starting, I went ahead and swapped up to KC.
Yeah.
Vegas.
I just either way, I think that there's some weird things happening at quarterback that kind of are not great for the Las Vegas side, but I'm staying away from it, knowing that if I had a lean, it would probably be KC, but I don't feel strong enough about it to really make a move on it. So I mean, I think could I see it being a Kansas City Chiefs wake up and they hear a lot of the critics, they hear a lot of the people talking about how they're not, playing up to the standard at what people expect them to for a back-to-back Super Bowl champion, and maybe they wake up and just blow the Vegas Raiders out. Maybe. I could see both scenarios happen. I could see the Raiders backdoor covering. I could see the Kansas City Chiefs blowing them out by 24. I could see the Raiders losing by 7 in this one, and it's just a close game that the Chiefs just want to get in, get a win, and get out. So, with that being said, I'm just leaving it alone. I mentioned Tennessee and Detroit. Your thoughts on those games? For what you think on those particular ones.
So we want to talk about trends. One trend that goes against the Lions. I think they've lost their last 7 Thanksgiving games. Let me double check that real quick. But they have struggled on Thanksgiving Day.
This team's different, man. This team is busting all the trends.
Lions. Yeah.
One trend that one trend that the Lions are busting left and right that shouldn't be happening. One, we should be fading the Lions as hard as possible. And yet, week after week, they are double-digit favorites, and week after week, we're saying those are too big of spreads. And they've covered a majority of those large double-digit spreads all season long. I think this is the year that they get off they get things going the right way on Thanksgiving. They feast on Thanksgiving this year.
Yep. Also, I did just check. Yep, they have not won on Thanksgiving since 2016 when they beat the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, they're in for a treat this year. Let's go.
So just because of that, I can't really bet the Lions here.
But it's not betting the Lions, it's the Bears. It's knowing who their opponent is. Like who were their opponents over the last. I mean, obviously we could look back and see what the quality of opponents, but typically we have really good matchups on Thanksgiving where the competitive games, competitive division, whether it's a division opponent or whether it's other teams that have better records. This is almost just as much betting the Lions as it is betting how bad a dead Chicago team, and a badly coached Chicago team. So that's just that's just where I'm at.
Yeah, and then Tennessee, like I'm kind of with you on that one. Commanders have not played well as of late. You're welcome, Eagles fans, for getting them tenderized for you. But yeah, Titans. I mean, at this point, Brian Callahan, it's his first year, but he's still coaching for his job. He's on the hot seat already after a horrible start to the year. Commanders are struggling. They're high and mighty. They're starting to fall off. Like Dan Quinn was coach of the year. He's trying to revert back to what everyone expected him to be. So I do agree with that. It's again, Titans aren't good enough for me to bet it, but I do agree with that.
Okay. Love it. All right, so there you go. Other games. Let's just rolling through some of these other games. Want to talk about, because there was a lot that I loved this week.
Do you love Thanksgiving?
I mean, the Giants Cowboys, it's going to be unwatchable, borderline unwatchable. That's the thing that I'm worried about is we're going to have a blowout in game 1. We're going to have a game that no one gives a shit about in game 2 because of just the quarterbacks that are playing and just the two teams that are absolutely just dog water.
And the Cutlets might be gone.
I don't think he's no. I think it's he's not playing. It's highly doubtful.
Yeah, that's why he might be gone. Yeah, Drew Lock.
Drew Lock is coming in, which is why Giants plus 3.5 is in play. Drew Lock is an upgrade. I mean, Drew Lock would have been going into last week a better option than Mr. Cutlet. So I think if I had a lean in that one, Giants would be the side. Then we're getting to another. What was it? You have Houston and Jacksonville. Weirdly enough, Jacksonville, when they were getting 5.5, I loved Jacksonville at 5.5. Now it's 4.5. Don't love it as much, but Houston, we have a problem. Something's wrong in Houston. CJ Stroud hasn't looked the same.
Honestly, one I kind of like the Patriots against the Colts because Anthony Richardson has no consistency in the slightest. I got him at 3 on the pick'em site. I kind of lean the Patriots there.
Well, they're a teaser candidate. I mean, I love Patriots teased up. I love the Jets teased up. Jets could win that game outright potentially. I like the Jets at home against Seattle. Seattle traveling to the East Coast. I think that there could be a good opportunity for them to keep that one in a good spot. But New York Jets teased up to 7.5. Love it. That's another one. A black market in the chat. Giants Cowboys will somehow get the huge ratings because New York market and Cowboys fan base. It could get the huge.
Checks out.
It could. Well, that in addition to, it might be the most entertaining from a pure dumpster fire standpoint. When you see, I mean, who doesn't stop by and just stare at a dumpster fire or a?
I mean, how can it be a dumpster fire when you have Super Cooper playing?
Like, how could you not stop and look at? You know, have you guys seen the movie Naked Gun, where Leslie is an old slapstick comedy where Leslie Nielsen is he's a police sergeant, and there is this big missile going down Main Street, and it runs into a fireworks store and blows up, and there's fireworks and explosions, and he's in front of everybody saying, "There's nothing to see here. Go home."
Oh, I've seen that meme.
There's nothing to see here. That's what exactly this game is going to be. Probably, it's like you don't want to look, and it's going to be absolutely a disaster. I'd rather watch Naked Gun than this game. You might, maybe that's what maybe that's what we do. Black Market. Those movies were so funny. If you haven't seen the Naked Gun movies, you got to see them. I know you don't like movies. Go check those ones out. They're just so dumb, but they're the most. It's a natural comedy that's just old school and amazing. You'll love it. But that's what this game is going to shape out to be. Nothing to see here, and yet you can't take your eyes off it. It's just what it's going to be. What else? What else? What else?
I think we covered all but one game, Rams and Saints.
And I like the Saints. Weirdly enough, I like the Saints. As weird as
Really,
that's,
plus 2.5?
I would probably tease them. I'd probably tease them to feel safe, but I would lean still Saints plus 2.5. Rams going to the East Coast. It's just I think
mean, it is Central Time, so it's not like the full distance.
is New Orleans Central.
Yeah, they're going to the best time zone.
Oh yeah, nah, not quite,
Bruh.
Central time
Which New
zone.
Orleans is right on the Mississippi River.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably tease up New Orleans and feel really good about it, but yeah, New Orleans is just trending the right direction. I feel like they have a good that game should be closer than expected as well. But there you go.
Who knew that good things happen? Who knew that good things can happen when you actually warm up? Who would have guessed?
I mean, I you know what also too, I think somehow, some way, can we talk about old boy in New Orleans who's I mean, we talk about Saquon turning the tides for an entire team.
Yeah.
Is there not one person that doesn't think that Taysom Hill is a one man wrecking crew for that franchise, or he just like explodes with all of these different ways to put points on the board and be dynamic? Anyways, yeah, tease him up.
I did. I had a hot take a while back, and I'll stick to it. I think Daniel Jones would make a really good Taysom Hill type of player. He's big, he can run, he can actually catch. I think he could work well in that role.
Yeah. I mean, Saints are. I think they're on. I mean, they're 2-0 under their interim head coach. Darren's given the Riz out there to all the other teams he's been playing the last 2 weeks. Ooh,
It's spicy.
but yeah. I don't know. It's a teaser spot, though. It's a teaser spot.
Yeah.
How excited should the Vikes fans be to have Daniel Jones on the practice squad?
I mean, well, at very least, even if he doesn't play a snap, they'll lose him in free agency, and as long as someone gives him like $10 million, they'll get a draft pick. So they're just getting a free draft pick for no particular reason.
The thing with Danny Dimes is, and what Minnesota's, I mean, if Minnesota can do what they have so far with turning whatchamacallit's career around, Sam Darnold's career. If you can turn Sam Darnold's career around, I feel like there's an opportunity to turn Daniel Jones's career around as well. I just don't know if he's ever going to have the opportunity. And given the situation, I mean, the Minnesota Vikings are just in a weird spot with how their record sits. Like they've had success this season with Sam Darnold. So it's not like you're just going to say, oh, now that we have Danny Dimes. I mean, you're right.
And they did draft J.J. McCarthy.
They have J.J. McCarthy. So that's another thing. So it's like, yeah, you get something out of him, right? But it doesn't really move the needle. It's more of a bargaining chip, so to speak, if you wanted to figure out something to do with him, and figure out ways to. But someone's gonna pick up Danny. There were 4 teams I think that were interested in him. I think Las Vegas was one.
San Francisco
was one, and maybe 2 others that were expressing interest. So, he'll be somewhere. Taysom is a poor man's Tebow. If Tebow was a team player and didn't have to be the QB. Hey,
I'd say it's more of a poor man to Cordell Stewart. Old call back there.
How excited should I? I was hoping Dimes would have gone to Baltimore just to see Wildcat with Lamar and Dimes on the outside. That would be fun to watch. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. You get Lamar, Daniel Jones, and Derrick Henry. It's like, oh crap, who's getting the ball?
Well, yeah. I mean, how do you cover that? First of all, second of all, you could put Lamar in more. You could hand the ball off to him. He could be the running back that he has been over the course of his career. You
could do like an option play with a pass, like speed option with him and Daniel Jones, and then if someone's open, just stop and yeet.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, that would be super fascinating. I just don't think it would happen. So anyways, Rec, if I get tickets to my nearest local New York Rangers game, can you personally guarantee I see a Rempe fight?
I mean, Rempe is the best candidate to fight. I don't know if I can guarantee 100%, but you got a solid shot there. I would say if you're going to Rangers Predators, Rempe is going to be fighting somebody for sure. If it was Rangers Predators, 100%. This case, I don't know for sure.
So guys, if you guys are just joining us for the first time and you're seeing our best bets, you're seeing our previews, make sure you hit that follow button so you know when we go live every single Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Again, we will not have an NBA show tomorrow. It is Thanksgiving.